Hey everyone, this is episode 52 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is a big trooper, especially what's been happening this past week. OSG, how's it going, sir?
Hmm, that's a hard question to answer right now, or maybe not the right question you should be answering right now. After after things that went on last night during the Dynamo game, I'm just upset, superly upset, along with a lot of other people too at the same time. So, uh, you know, in keeping things in order, I'm gonna refrain from the attitude right now, since Dash and Dose are before Dynamo today. So, otherwise, this is Sunday morning at noon. I'm back home, and this is the first time in 2 years that I'm happy to say I'm back home in friggin' Austin. And that's how angry I am right now. But let's just get into all the bad news from the weekend. How
Oh
are you
yeah,
doing, anyways, bro? So I guess the first thing I should ask you. I don't do things for the holidays. People should know me by now. The holidays don't exist for me. It's just a regular day in the week. But you're July 4th.
well, I would say it was pretty good. It was like the first time I've actually been to Lake Austin, or what's known today as a Lady Bird Lake here in Austin. I just watched the fireworks on the 4th, and I also had like a few birthdays this past week, so I've been very tied up with life stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of non-dynamo stuff, it was pretty good. Obviously, this weekend has been very rough to say the least, on and off the field for the three teams, you could say. And
Yeah.
for the Dynamo stuff, we'll try to like keep it when we after we discuss the Dynamo game later on in the episode. But of course, as you mentioned, Dynamo 2 and Dash taking the field first this past Friday, and disappointing is it's probably underselling it because it's another two losses for both teams coming off a pretty rough 1-0 losses the week before, and we there's not much to chat here other than the fact that it's looking worrisome for both teams.
Between the two, we've lost 9 in a row between Dash and Dose. 5 for Dash and 4 for Dose now. So that's how excited we are about reporting the news today.
Yeah, no, yeah, like it's my original plan was to be with OSG in Austin for the Dynamo 2 game, but unfortunately wasn't able to because of those personal uh and those like personal events going on. And I know, yeah, it was just disappointing because I was also keeping an eye on that game while I was watching the Dash, like from my phone, and I was just thinking about OSG the whole time and Webb as well because Webb was attending the game along with OSG and some friends and family, and I was just like, oh man, they're not having a good time, and I wish I could be there to support them, but yeah,
Bro, not a good time at all. And like you said, Webb did show up, and he brought friends with him along with the ride. And then of course there was a lot of team family members in attendance, which I'll get into in a little bit. So I mean, the game itself though was just disheartening, just the way we played, and then the goals that we were giving up, and to do it in Austin, with it being the rubber match too, because that was we won one and they won one, so this settled the series for next pro. Which, man, but a 3-0 loss, man, just and poor Yathan Juarez or whatever. He's a great player. He's just so small, and they had a guy named Fadri that was playing on his side, who's like 6'3" tall or whatever, and he's pretty damn good. He's their first round pick this year, and he just took advantage and was able to create, and they went down that left side wing, our right side, their left side, and just kept getting a couple crosses off, and then they were able to finish in front of the net. And then the third one, the last goal, a free kick, and just Padenberg, how you would say his name, he couldn't reach it. I think he got a late jump on it, but it was over the wall. It was right in the top 90. You it was just an annoying kind of game that was going on, man. Just to make this clear, Maples was on a yellow card accumulation, so he was actually sitting in the stands not too far away from us with his family. And shout out to Maples though, bro. He was not quiet in the stands. He was a captain from the stands as well. He was standing up talking to the keeper, talking to defenders, and just doing his thing like he was on the sideline, like he was still with the team, but he doing his captain things. And so big shout out to him for doing his thing and just staying involved. He's got a lot of passion, and it shows why he deserves to be the freaking captain of the team. Much deserved. But he's gonna be back and be angry next week or 2 weeks when they play again. Yeah, the 16th when they
No,
play
yeah,
again.
and no, yeah, big credit to him for just being the leader that he is. I've seen him play a lot of times, and on the field, you can just see like his leadership skills and attributes just like in action. And I know, yeah, I can definitely see him. If I was there, I could have definitely like heard him on the stands, and I was like, yeah, that's talent right there. And I just credit to him just for being there with the team, and just like even not being able to like obviously dictate what's going on the field.
Right.
He's just staying involved, kind of like what a fan is, and it's pretty good to see, and that's what the kind of stuff that we need with the Dynamo 2 and what he has been showing since like the past year. And no, yeah, that's just awesome, honestly.
Yeah, and they definitely missed him. And on those crosses, it kind of showed. And obviously I was there, so I didn't get to see replays, and I didn't go back and watch like the match replay or anything like that to see what actually who missed their man, or was Austin making the right runs into the box. But it was Bougie Morano and Lampman were in the middle. Of course, Lampman is still only 17, so he's getting his work in and learning pretty fast. But just Austin brought it with Venella or Neves or Vela or whatever the guy's name is. I think that scored the on those two crosses for Austin. I guess he was just on point with where he was supposed to be, and like I said, they took advantage on our right side coming down that wing. And yeah, we missed Maples, but it's just a disappointing showing last night, or not last night, but Friday night from the boys. And I'm sure I didn't watch the press replays either to see what Bundy actually said about the game. That's my fault. I usually do just to hear some things, just to get a point of view. And this time I wasn't able to, coming back from Houston this morning. And but I'm sure he was mad and wasn't particularly happy with the performance from the team. And man, it was just a hard one to watch, especially being there in person. It wasn't as many fans as the first time we played Austin, but it was still quite packed. Still quite a lot of people there, and there was quite a bit of orange there as well too. Even one of the coaches from the Dynamo showed up. I couldn't tell you his name. He's the shorter guy, but he's crutching around right now too. So I forget which one he is, but because he didn't have his shirt on during the game, so I couldn't tell who he is. But man, it was just dude, a couple chances we had just weren't on target. Their defense shut us down, and obviously the score line is how the game played out. Man, it was just frustrating to watch. And I told Webb, thank God I only have a 20-minute drive home tonight this time. You've got the bad drive, but at least you got people to talk to and distract you, man. I'm usually driving home by myself and gotta just listen to the radio and focus on the friggin' stars because there's nothing else to look at on the way home.
Yeah, it'd be like that. I can definitely attest to that. But at least he's got a company.
Yeah,
But yeah, but yeah, Dynamo 2 are coming off a 3-0 loss this week in Austin, and that next week they do have the weekend off, and they'll be back to host North Texas SC on July 16th, and that should be a pretty decent one. Of course, North Texas being at home again, and it's always a interesting game to say the least. So we'll see how that goes.
definitely going to be interesting, bro. Definitely going to be interesting. And no- you know, Nor- North Texas is a rivalry game, but the way we're playing right now, we're not. We're not. It's not like hell in the shell. The boys aren't playing well at home. They're not playing well on the road. They're missing. it just seems like they're missing the connectability, even though there's a lot of talent out there on the field. And, you know, Zeke Soto's not having the best time of his life right now playing as a forward. So that kind of hurt, but hopefully they'll figure it out before it's too late because we are dropping in the standings. And I'll go ahead and say this. There was only 2 games on Friday. The rest of Next Pro, as we're recording this, still hasn't played today. So there's not going to be much update in the league review. All it could potentially do is just push us further down the friggin' standings.
Oh yeah, and yeah, at this point it's just to hope for the best and for the team to figure it out. But it seems like a theme we've been kind of harping on for like the past few episodes. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Hey, someone did ask me if Foxtrot goes to games. I was like, I don't know, man. You're going to have to ask him yourself. I don't think he does. Uh,
Yeah, like this year has been pretty rough on me, and I've been it's not the amount of games I've been wanting to go or commit to, but yeah, like it's especially for Dynamo too. Like I've been wanting to make it to more games, but it's been kind of weird with the games on Friday and Sunday. As for the Dynamo though, I should make it to more games because, like I said just now, I should make it to more games still. Even though you make that commitment, I should be making it to more really.
yeah, we'll get you there somehow. I may just have to kidnap you. I think I can get out the door and throw you in my trunk, and then once we're started on the road, I'll pull over and let you out the trunk, and like you can find a way home or you can continue on to Houston. We're going to the game. Then let you make a
Oh
choice right
yeah,
there.
and same goes to the Dash because I've they're the ones that need the most support in my opinion,
Absolutely.
and it's a good segue to get into the Dash game which happened, and I feel like this was the worst game of the weekend to say the least because it's it's been that kind of game that you've seen the Dash attack, you've seen the Dash uh, press forward and get those opportunities in, but they don't bury their chances and they just let the team lose off a couple opportunities or lucky breaks for the opposing team. And that's what happened here against the Chicago Red Stars back at home. It gets shut out at home, 1-0 against them, which is again unacceptable and just another waste of 3 points to put themselves in a position that heading to the World Cup break is not looking good.
Not looking good at all, man. Not looking good at all. Now, I don't know if the offense looked like I think they looked a little bit better than they have in the past. To tell you the truth, I don't know if there were any changes made to the tactics. You'll have to tell me that because since I was at Dose on Friday and Dash were playing at the same time, I did not get to watch the Dash game. And Paramount foobarred the replay, so I didn't get to watch the replay either. I only got to watch the extended highlights. So, did you notice anything different from the team as a whole playing this week than the previous games that I've been complaining about?
Oh yeah, for this weekend, I was mostly just happy for you because it kind of seems like Sam Lady was kind of listening to your complaints, and he actually started like Simon and Price Hawk and like Garris next to each other, and obviously not Price Hawk because she was sitting back, but still like
Yeah, yeah.
at least like Sam Lady understands what's going on, or at least making those adjustments. But it just it really sucks because it just comes down to not burying their opportunities, and the team is clicking all together, but it's just like a couple of those opportunities defensively that are just slipping by and just costing the team the points, and it's really it's really disappointing because this team like plays out very well. They know what they're doing. They're stringing their opportunities and just defending well, but like they're just slipping the 3 points or like 1 point or 3 points, and they're setting up themselves to just or at least they're widening the gap with like the rest of the league.
And from what I could tell, it's like, yeah, it looked like they were having better chances at goal. They still weren't very good chances, but they were chances that, it It's just God, it's just tough. And something I would like to see just because of Salmon's speed and can take advantage of it. I'd like to see Ordonez and Salmon switch spots. At least for one game, or at least for the first 30 minutes of a game, and just see what happens. Because obviously, we need a spark. Here's the stat: 5 games in a row we've lost. 5 games in a row we've been shut out. 11 games for the entire season we've been shut out. What are we? What? How many games are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18 freaking games, bro. 11 of those we've been clean sheeted. So that tells you something. And it 2 goals is the most we scored in any of our games, and done that what 4 times, 5 times. So two is our max. Defense is still solid as can ever be, but the offense isn't making up for what the defense is doing. Defense is solid. Offense is lacking. I think Vigiano, just from what I could tell, had a good game. I had a very good game playing in that midfield, and she was by herself. She had Gary's on her left, and uh, who got the cam start or the other third midfield start?
The other
No,
midfield, because it was Vigiano, Bombi, and Peterson.
no. Peterson was left back. Didasco was right back. Prysock and Lind were the two center backs. You had Vigiano, and they actually started Gary's as like the left midfielder. You had Sanchez up top left, Ordonez in the middle, Salmon on the right, and I'm missing one player here. God dang it, who was it? Who was it?
Because
The
we
other
Yeah, because the other few players that you're missing from there were just like Jacobs and Lind in the back, but because I already mentioned Gary's Ordonez and Salmon up top, well, or at least
uh,
listed up top, but yeah,
yeah, so it looks like Jacobs played in the midfield this game, right? Because you
it
had
seemed like it. Yeah,
because you had Peterson on the left for sure. So I think Jacobs was Vigiano's partner, and then you had Gary's playing on the left side, and so it was a little bit different on how things getting text on what happened yesterday. Yeah, but at least I think the girls did look a little bit different. But like I said, I didn't get to see the game. I did get up Saturday morning before I go to Houston and was just looking at the Discord and listening to people's thoughts and just kind of arguing back and forth about our opinions with each other. And so let me pose this question to you because this is kind of one of the main arguments. I keep complaining about tactics. Someone else was his defense was the talent's not there, and I was like, the talent's obviously there. We've had the talent from last year. The team hasn't changed too much this year. Of course, there's some brand new pieces and they're rookies, but they're obviously talented because they're getting the game time, they're getting the starts. We're missing a bunch of players too at the same time, but I mean, is the talent missing, or is it the camaraderie between the team just not being able to play together as a unit correctly? Are they not understanding the tactics that Slady is trying to instill in them? And is it just Lady not adjusting to the players that he has? He's just waiting too long because you can have great players and then you just put the wrong game plan in and they just don't perform well. But if you adjust that game plan a little bit, then you see those players start to perform. And it's just because you just made adjustments to those players and the type of players they are. And I don't know if that happened yesterday. I kind of leave that opinion up to you. Is it the lack of talent? Is it the lack of tactics? Is it too many new faces on the team that's keeping us from grinding together?
like I will definitely disagree with the fact that there's a lack of talent on the team, like only because we've seen this team play already and they moved the ball forward like and if you just compare them to like dash teams from the past. Like this one's with is one of the most talented we've had in a while. And talent wise, we're good. I'd say I think at this point on, it's just like a matter of just sticking as a unit because we've seen them like take the strides and Sam Lady has been making the adjustments or like the ones he sees that are the ones that are needed. And I'm only saying the fact of like the team still has to grow as a unit only because we're letting the results slip by, but at the same time we're trying to make strides to change the results of the game. And if like people have been seeing the results, or like rather the games, and that's been happening, like for the most part, like the games that were losses were like close calls, or like the results that the dash slipped by. We're only a goal or two from changing the storyline. And unfortunately, we're in this situation where they just have to like come together and figure it out, because it's clear, like I said, that Sam is making those adjustments to figure things out, or address those mistakes from before. And but the talent is right there. Like, it's for me, it cannot be questioned.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, to me, it's obviously not the talent. The talent's there. I think it's just the way we were putting the team together. And like I've been complaining about Lady, and why why is Sophie Hurst getting the start over Vigiano, who, Hurst is a rookie and obviously proven herself in practice, but I still think Vigiano's a better player. She looked good yesterday. Obviously Sophie Smith's with Canada right now, but when she comes back, I'd like to see those two pair up again. They know how to play with each other, and if that's what's missing is the cohesiveness between the team, because you got that stellar back line. Okay, you got the front line with so much potential and so much talent, just lacking the scoring opportunity, and then you have the three midfield who is what's inconsistent. Sophie Smith just balling out every frigging game. Joel Anderson is not the Cam that you want her to play, or the attacking piece that you're getting out of her. She's improved very little since the start of the season. And then, so Sophie Hurst has been solid, but she hasn't been a game changer. She hasn't been a playmaker. She hasn't done anything that just really stands out. So, it's let's I know we got a whole friggin' month now, but let's put Schmidt and Vigiano back together when we're done with these three. Yeah, we got three Challenge Cup games to play with the lineup, because, like I said last time, I don't care about this damn Challenge Cup anymore. Lady, use these three games to play with your lineup, figure it out, get the girls out there for some minutes, get Barb out there to get some more minutes, so that when Andres Alves comes in, and you got Schmidt and you got Vigiano. I love that midfield that three-way right there. Vigiano, Schmidt, and Alves, and then you have Sanchez and Ordonez, and then Salmon and Jesus, not Prince, but Alozi can can take turns over there, or just need to rotate the top. I mean, you got four nice forwards, rotate them. You don't have to start Sanchez every game. You don't have to start Ordonez every frigging game. Maybe Ordonez does need to go on the outside. Where did she score all her goals from last year? Yes, she were in the box, but what, she playing on the outside and had 11, I think 11 or 12 goals as a rookie. And this year she has two. One of them's a penalty kick. So we got the three Challenge Cup games. Now it's time to play around and try things out, because it won't hurt us. It'll only benefit us. And I'm saying it, Lady. It doesn't matter if we lose these three games. Play with your lineup. You have 3 games to do it. That's a lot of time.
No, yeah, and at this point, the Challenge Cup is just a good. I would like to say, like, a good proving ground, like heading into league play, because like with the players they're gonna have during the World Cup, which is gonna happen in a few weeks' time, it's gonna be a good chance to see them. Obviously, to get acclimated with each other, and I figure what's gonna be next for league play, because as you mentioned, the Dash are gonna be off for like the next couple weeks. The World Cup is going to start, but uh, we're not gonna see them play in the league for like the next month or so. It's just going to be Challenge Cup after 2 weeks from now, and it's just gonna be the last 3 games for the Challenge Cup. And whatever happens, which I doubt the Dash I go through. We'll see how it goes though. Like, but I don't see them going through either way. But if
Not
they
right
do,
now.
nice.
No, no, not right now. The way they're playing, no, absolutely not. And that is the benefit. You got the three Challenge Cup games that really aren't meaningful at all. And then, like you said, we don't return till August 19th, which is a home game against a very tough Washington, who plays us very well. So you get right back to business when the World Cup ends, and these World Cup players come back to the roster, and Alves return and comes in for the first time with us. And you get Washington. So I mean, it's not like I'm asking for Louisville or any. I would rather have Louisville, by the way, but I mean, you're getting Washington, so maybe that's a good thing. You get right back in the league play. You've only got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, 7 games left once we get back from World Cup. And where we're sitting at right now in the standings is ridiculous. So it, play for the next 3 games, play around for the next 3 games. When Washington comes in, it's time to turn it up and play ball, or we're going to miss the playoffs. And all we got to do is make the playoffs, get on a run, make the playoffs, and then you take the good form into the playoffs, and then you just surprise everybody. Like, this is the team that we expected, and that's what I want to see. That's what I need to see. I demand to
Oh
see.
yeah, for sure. But this was a dash coming off 1-0 loss, heading towards the World Cup break, and shout out to Ali Pricelock for being her. She's her, but yeah,
That's that. This is the signed auction jersey. So I've got it. Price lock.
I'm so jealous though. And if you missed it from the last episode, I was about to win the Bossy shirt that he wore for the Pride game, but unfortunately, I was not lucky enough, and I got outbid. And I think
Yeah,
the bidding reached like over $300, which was over my budget.
yeah,
Oh well.
yeah. I don't blame you for not getting it. I don't blame you for not getting it. But and like I said, I was lucky to get this one. Nobody bid on it after the first day, and it just stayed where it was at. And I'm not going to complain because it was the only one I bid on. It was, and I didn't have to change at the last minute because it got outbid. So I'm happy I got my first choice, and and she's a great player. I like what she does on the field. Number 23, but yeah, so got to put it in a frame now and find out how to hang it up on the wall back here. Might have to change some things up back here, but the background, but we'll figure that out.
Yep. I'm looking forward to your product, but yeah, with that, let's get into the Dynamo. There's a lot to talk about on and off the field. We'll start with what happened on the field.
Yeah,
That being a 2-2 draw against Sporting Kansas City, and I'm slightly disappointed with this result only because we were coming off 2 road losses, and I was expecting a win at home, and it didn't turn out like that. And Kansas City got a lot of opportunities in, particularly the penalty kick in the second half to somewhat put the Dynamo in a situation where they had to get those 3 points in a short span of time. And fortunately, they did get that goal towards stoppage time in the second half to secure the points. But as I said before, they needed the 3 points here, and obviously, not something less than that. It's a disappointment coming off that those strings of results on the road. But yeah, I'd like to hear from you because you were there, and I was able to watch the game, and look, that first goal from the Dynamo was pretty sick though. I'd like to say that.
it's too bad SKC scored their first goal. Now, granted, SKC is an old rival of ours. They play us, like a rivalry team every time. I wasn't expecting a 2-2. I was expecting a 2-1 win for us, and more. But typically, when we play SKC, it's a low scoring game. So 2-2, we'll take. They got their first goal, which from the stands where we saw, we thought it was offsides. I'm sure you got the replay on TV. I couldn't tell if Steres kept him on, but VAR obviously said that he was onside. So it's I didn't get to see the replay, so I don't get to judge that one. Did you get to see the replay of it? Was it?
So yeah, it looked pretty close, but unfortunately, like it was just like that.
Yeah, so because it looked like he was definitely past Bartlow and the Danish Eric, but then whenever watching the replay in the stadium, you saw Stairs come out of the bottom of the freaking corner right there, and it looked like he was definitely way back off his line, and he wasn't even with the other two guys. So it was, I guess that's what kept him on, and he chipped it over Steve. Steve came out pretty quick, and there's nothing that he could do. But then, like you said, we came back, and right before half, we get our goal back. Is just I guess I got to say that word. Baird. Nah, Baird played a great through ball to Achi Achi. Achi Achi was just I thought he was going to shoot, bro. I thought he was going to shoot, but Achi Achi, being the brilliant man he is, he drops it over to Aliyu, and Aliyu gets his first MLS goal, which
Finally.
came right in front of the supporter section that we stand in, and uh, it was just remarkable, and thank God 1-1 going into halftime. But it was just a brilliant play, just brilliant build up play, and the chances even coming before that with Aliyu making runs and the balls coming through Aliyu getting towards the goal and just being such a menace is just crazy to see because he hasn't scored, and then finally he gets a gift from Achi, who, like I said, when I was sitting 10 yards away, it felt like, and Achi receives that ball, and it's just him and the keeper. Keeper's coming out. I was expecting him to take the shot, and I was ready for the goal either way. But he didn't. He just laid it off, and it was just beautiful. And bro, we celebrated. Uh, we threw our water, of course. I chucked my bottle straight up in the air, not onto the field. And security goes, no, don't throw bottles. I'm like, just straight up, calm down, calm down. But yeah, that was going into halftime 1-1, man. That was going into halftime 1-1. And then you mentioned that penalty kick. God, dude, Escobar, the dude was just sitting here doing this little number, and I'm like, don't bite, and he friggin' bit, bro. He friggin' bit. And the dude was going towards the end line too, so like let him go that way. Just deflect the ball when he passes it. No, he freaking clipped him. Clear penalty kick, whatever. Dude act like he was broken and hurt too on the on the sideline there for a minute. Like, I hate the way they act so bad. And then the penalty kick was just one of those that looks like a 4-year-old took the penalty kick and he just kind of punched it in, and he did it so slow that Steve has no choice but to react and pick a side. And Polito won it this time, and then Polito goes and celebrates, and I guess his family was there. They had one of the boxes on the east side, and I'm like, no way, man. And he sat there and celebrated and celebrated and celebrated and celebrated. And I'm like, bro, go back home, get back in the field. Like, Jesus, bro, like, come on, man.
Get a
But
room.
yeah, get a room. I know it's your family, but get a room. I mean, they had a room, so they should have gone back in their room. But
Right.
so, but yeah, whatever, bro. But and then we knew this referee coming in was a whistleblower, and what I mean by that, like, just from you probably watching the game, could tell he blew the whistle like even before players were hitting the ground. So if I touched you right now, he's blowing the whistle. Granted, a lot of them were fouls, a lot of them whatever, but not fouls, but hey, when you're good at acting because you play soccer, you can sell the fact that I guess you were fouled or not fouled, but it looks like a foul. So whatever, and we know it throws cards out. So I guess we're lucky we just didn't get away with a red card this time, Sebas Fadea. but
No, yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to bring forward. But obviously, the main one for me is just the fact that Aliyu finally got his first league goal, and it's kind of a relief because you see his games every time he starts. He's so close to getting that goal, and he's such a talented player with a technical ability and his way of finishing the ball. And he got so close, but no, like nothing to like write home about like in the league. But obviously because he scored like a ton of goals in the Open Cup by now, but it's important for him to get in the league scoring sheet, and he finally did. So I'm just happy for him, and also the fact that this is the first game Machiachi starts in about a week, and like you just know his presence already, but like the way he just builds the play to set up Aliyu, like it's insane because he just set up the ball one time and gets inside the box to be available like of Baird, I believe, and yeah, just Aliyu just wide open to finish it. That's just the teamwork right there, uh like
yeah,
technical term to say the
yeah.
least.
And I hope it opens the floodgates for him, man. I hope it opens the floodgates. Now, granted, it wasn't one of his shots that he finished. It was a layoff, easy ball, but you know he was open. He put himself in that position like he always has been doing, like you said, and making those opportunities. And this time, Achi gave paid him off. Said, "Here you go, bro. Score this one. Score this one." And like you said, it doesn't show up in the stats unless you use MLS stats because they give second assist or whatever, assist to the assist. But Baird was the one that fed that beautiful ball that got us down there. So it was good. And then friggin' Achi with the ball down to Thor at the what I think the 10 minutes of extra time. Which before we get into the Franco goal, 10 minutes of extra time, and I keep saying to myself as a coach, I'd be just so friggin' pissed and annoyed. Like, guys, y'all don't need to lay down and call for general hospital for so long. The referee obviously is adding time every time somebody wastes time. And it doesn't matter which team is doing it. They're adding time. So that all that time you just wasted laying on the ground, he just gave it right back. What happens? Dynamo score with 7 minutes into extra time with 3 minutes to go. A nice ball from Herrera over the top to Thor, which wasn't over the top. Sorry. He was, a nice long ball to Thor. And then Thor's looking for Sebas. He plays Sebas, but Sebas was in FIFA mode and just dummied it. It were right between his friggin' legs, just dummied it. And thank God Franco was on his guns because he was like half the time those players don't expect that ball. Like it was going to Sebas, so he's like, I got to make sure I stayed on side. But he just kept with his run, and I think he just kind of he felt it and he saw it. It must have been in slow motion for him. And Sebas just leaves it for him, and friggin' the defender stopped running, and Franco's like punched it right in the goal, and the keeper was mad again. But that keeper got mad on both the goals he gave up because he felt like he could have done something about them. But there's nothing you could have done with the Aliu goal. But credit for Franco. I've been giving him enough crap lately. So I'm glad he could score and even us out, and at least get the point back. And we still only have one loss at home this year, so that number doesn't change.
Yeah, shout out to Ivan Franco for getting that equalizer, like coming off the bench too, and it took about like 12, 13 minutes, 14 minutes to do that, but he needed that big time because obviously
Absolutely.
he's under a lot of scrutiny from Dynamo fans and for the right reasons, unfortunately. But yeah, he's just getting in the groove of things, and also a first assist of the season for Thor, so that's nice. uh,
Hey,
yeah,
it's his
that's
time.
something. But yeah, it's for me just kind of disappointing because, like I said earlier, like this has to be the 3 points coming off a tough stretch of games, and no, yeah, at least they didn't lose, which is good, and they still had the fight. But the last thing I wanted to mention is just the fact that I feel like Sebas got off like very. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy when it came to that shove. It definitely looks like a red card, but
It
I don't
was
know
a red.
I don't know what the thinking was there to like let him be in the game, but I feel like the disciplinary committee is gonna suspend it for the next game for sure.
Yeah, you're probably right, and we'll probably hear about it sometime today because there are no more MLS games. So we'll see. That was just stupid. I don't even know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. Now, dude was playing games at the kickoff and kept faking the kickoff, kept faking the kickoff. So yeah, that's annoying. But for Sebas to just straight up run at him, like, I don't know if he thought he touched the ball or what. Obviously, he didn't think he touched the ball because he didn't go kick the ball at all. The ball didn't move once. He just went straight up to the dude and pushed him. That's an immediate red. So Sebas got lucky. Now he probably won't play on Wednesday at all because of his actions. Which, whether he gets suspended or not, then he'll put his ass right back on the bench. And which I thought this game was perfect for him to play in the way SKC plays defense. So I thought maybe he should come off the bench, and granted he did towards the end there, and had his one little creative chance, but whatever. I mean, Sebas, you can't be stupid. Bring the nasty, but don't bring the red cards, man. Jesus,
I like
just
that.
yeah. I'm just glad he did get to play though, and he was involved in the goal that was scored, and that does show you something for Sebas though, who doesn't see the field, and to not put that ball on his feet and turn and try to take a shot when the defender's right on his back, and to dummy it and leave it for Franco shows you that he's not all into his head or his ego or whatever the fans are thinking his attitude problem is, if they think he's had an attitude problem, because he let the ball go through. And like I said, I don't nobody was probably expecting that dummy, and then it happened, and then boom, exciting goal. That was one for the ages. Like whoop, oop de doop.
Honestly, yeah, just credit the assist to save us at this point, but yeah.
Right. We'll give the MLS second assist right there too. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was fun, but at least like you said, at least we got out of there with the draw 2-2 to get a point. But it didn't help us in the standings in the long run. We dropped in the standings in the long run. So we needed those 3 points, like you said. Luckily, we do have a home game on Wednesday against Minnesota, who Minnesota got their butts kicked by, I guess, an up and coming Austin now. Even though it looked like Minnesota was probably according to the stats, at least, I didn't get to watch the game, was it probably looked like they were just a very attacking team. They had 23 shots overall. They actually had, I think, one more shot on target than Austin, but Austin finished 4 friggin' goals. So they must have been doing their thing right. And Minnesota got one and couldn't do theirs, so they got their butts kicked. So Minnesota's coming into Houston after getting a butt kicking, so they're going to be down. Uh, I guess you could say we might be happy because we fought back twice in the game and got a draw. So advantage us, and everybody will be available to play on Wednesday, minus Sebas.
Save us probably. But
Yeah.
Mikhail comes back too, so that's good.
Oh, that's right. Yep,
But yeah.
that's right.
But
But
yeah, it's gonna be a busy week for sure.
yeah. But for me, I didn't get to see the last goal, the Franco goal, because some things happened during the game. I don't know if you're ready for this or not, but
No, yeah, we can definitely go ahead and talk about it since a lot of stuff happened off the field, and I think for you it's a good time to just bring everything forward or as much as you can really, because I've seen it on Twitter like during the game and afterwards like on Discord as well. A lot of accounts that just seems really it doesn't really make any sense based on previous interactions of like previous experiences that I had at the stadium. But like this happening right now with the timing and all that, it's just for me it doesn't make sense. But it's really important for you to just um, let people know what happened.
yeah, I'm not gonna break it down. I'll leave that for let them do their research and all that good stuff. I'll keep it brief, but first off, in the first half, the chant that is not allowed by FIFA or anybody was being said in our section, and those people were removed in the first half. So I think it was a total of 4 people, two separate groups of 2 that were removed from the game because they continuously chanted that on those goal kicks like everybody else does. But they got caught. They were removed from the. I wish there could be warnings. Walk up to them and say, "Hey, y'all say this again, you're out," because it wasn't a whole section that they're trying to tell. They're individuals, so they can go tell these individuals like, "Hey, this is not allowed here. This is against all protocols. Whatever. You do it again, you're leaving the stadium." They didn't do that. They just went and grabbed them. Granted, you should know this by now. Don't say that. But at the same time, I will say these 4 people that thrown out were not wearing orange. They were probably at their first Dynamo game, or it's been a minute since they've been to a game. They don't have an orange shirt. They don't own an orange shirt. They weren't SKC fans because you could tell they were actually cheering and enjoying the game for the most part until the goal kicks were happening. So good riddance to them. But as you know, we'll get into the second half where the action just started took a turn, and security is just got a big stick up their butt right now. And I'd like to use another word, but I'll stick with butt. I mean a big stick, and I don't mean like long. I mean like it's a big stick, bro. Like annoying, bro. Annoying. So as you know, you have El Batillon bringing the vibe as they always do up top. You have the Texian over to our right, and us the Surge sitting there on the left, and then we vibe off the instruments, off the band, playing the songs, and just keeping the just keeping everybody happy. And we got guys that are up on the rails. Everybody's got guys up on the rails, and they're kind of like the guy in the orchestra just telling the instruments what to do. We've got people sitting there just hands up, they're yelling, and they're pointing at people trying to get them going and everything like that. And in the 67th minute of all random minutes to do in a game, they decided to enforce a rule that they say has been implanted since day one of MLS history or Dynamo history or whatever, and that's you can't stand on the rails. So they came to us and told us to get down. Those that were up on the rail, they told them to get down. They got down, but the initial person that came and did this came in a very unprofessional manner from security. Came in a heated way. Came with that attitude, and let me say she. So let me take the stick reference back away for a minute. She came with a very nasty attitude, very not professional, unprofessional. And if you know me where I'm at games, you know where I stand. She was right next to me, kind of back over my shoulder right here, and telling, there's actually video, you can see it too, where she tells somebody to get down, and he's like, what are you and then she like yells at him, get down. And he does. He gets down. And then I get into it with her, and I'm asking her, what are you doing? What's going on? She gets an attitude with me as well. Starts doing this. Starts doing that. She turns around and goes gets other security. Everybody goes and starts talking to security. Our reps that are looking over us have to get involved, and everybody's just arguing and conversing with each other and just yelling and just trying to understand what the heck's going on and why all of a sudden this is a problem. Like I said, the random 67th minute, we weren't warned before that. We weren't told before that. It wasn't given to us before the game. Like, hey, you cannot do this, even though we've been doing it since day friggin' one. And it's obvious someone's doing it every single friggin' game. And it's not just one person. It's a lot of people that are doing it clear as friggin' day. And we're arguing and they're telling us that we can't do it. And at the same time, they're telling us we can't do it. They're not telling other people they can't do it. So it was a very targeted move at our section, is what it really felt like, and really kind of came out to be, because other people in other sections around us were still doing it and were never told to stop one bit. And I think that got on the nerves of some of our guys. So when they went back into our section and then noticed that nothing's changing, they went right back up on the rails and continued doing what we normally do all day long. Next thing you know, I'm going to leave a little part out here, but next thing you know, security comes with PD, not just security, with PD, and escorts two of our guys up and out. And as we see them, this is now the 88th minute. As we see them, hands behind their backs, they're not cuffed, but hands behind their back, being escorted up the stairs and on their way out to the tunnel, into the concourse, and out the stadium. The entire section saw this. We got up and we walked out with these people to show support for them, because they're being targeted, and the hypocrisy from the securities. Dynamo always posting pictures of the supporters section and showing the passion and the pride and all the support that the supporters show for their team, and just how they're involved and into it. And now all of a sudden it's a friggin' problem. So we got out and we walked out as well. And this was the 88th minute. So like I said, didn't get to see the rest of the game because we left as well. And I continued arguing with security. I think I met 5 different security people. One that says he's in charge. I call him Fluffy because he reminds me of Gabriel Iglesias, just from the minute that I got to talk to him. But he was proud of himself. He had a big head, and he didn't care what you had to say. There was another security guard. He was respectful and he was listening to our argument, and he kind of understood. But he's like, "I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my." I was like, obviously, you're not doing your job when you're picking on somebody and not reverting to a lot of other people. And at the same time, we're saying this. We're not pointing at people and saying, "What about them? What about him? What about him? What about him?" We're just saying it's pretty friggin' obvious. You're not telling other people that are doing it when you could just clearly look around and see other people doing it, which that's what pissed us off. Because I guarantee you told us to stop, you tell them to stop, you tell them to stop, and we see other people stop doing it. We're not going to continue to do it. That's not what we do. I think continue to do it because security showed no action being used towards other sections, other people, other actions. They particularly targeted our section and came after our section. And one security even told me, yeah, I'll leave this part out, but they blamed MLS security guidelines, is what they were following. MLS security guidelines. Like MLS has complained about this, but you watch every MLS team, every supporter section, you can see people up on the rails celebrating. Every team posting pictures of people up on the rails celebrating. Some teams have capos or captains or whatever. They don't even watch the friggin' game. They look at their friggin' supporter section and just tell them they're just singing their songs and yelling. And you see it across the board at all the friggin' games. You see the flares like you did at the Rose Bowl between LA and LA. It's just friggin' ridiculous. And flares, they even told us no flares outside the stadium where they typically are because that's still on property. So they're trying to spoil the entire friggin' party. And it just sounds like the guy that's in charge of making these rules is really trying to enforce boredom into the stadium. And at the time where we're trying to bring fans to the stadium, look at the national teams that just came and played at Shell Energy and at NRG. It's obviously there's fans here in Houston that want to watch soccer, but what are the Dynamo to them? And we're trying to make sure that the Dynamo get out there and are part of their lives, and they can come and enjoy a game. But they hear something like this happens, and something else happens, and some other stories. They're not going to want to go. Like the 4 people that got kicked out for chanting. They're never going to come back. Guarantee that they're not going to care to come back. I mean, not like they came anyways, but our people. Are we in the mood to go back right now? Absolutely not. Will we go back on, let's say, Wednesday? I have no idea. I doubt it. And it could be a 1-game protest. It could be no game protest. It could go further into the season. Right now, there's a lot of turmoil, and there's a lot of mad people right now. That's because this was targeted. It was hypocritical. It was not warranted. The timing of it was completely random, and it just did not make sense to none of us. And like I said, I argued with the reps. Well, I don't like to use the word argue. Debated with the reps, the Dynamo reps, for quite a long time, and security for quite a long time, making points, hearing their points, but not agreeing in the end. So we'll see what happens this week. Right now, the plan is I will not be attending Wednesday's game. And no, I will not be giving my ticket away so you can take my spot. Not you specifically, but you listening. I will not be giving my ticket away so you can take my spot. We're the fans. We're passionate. If we're doing something really wrong, then make the rules and tell us the rules, and then we'll know the rules. But this clearly wasn't a rule that was known, obviously, from history. And then the random timing of the 67th friggin' minute, dude. It's just annoying. Pissed us off, man. Pissed us off. I'm done with the rant now. I'll let it be. There's still some more details that I left out, obviously, but if you're good enough, you can find it on Twitter, or you can find it if you're in the right place to know what goes on. But just annoying, and I'm really pissed, especially for me who drives to Houston every home game. It's not a fun 5 hour trip, 2.5 there, 2.5 back, and spinning the gas and getting a hotel room every now and then. And like I did, ended up getting a hotel last night and just staying because it was kind of pretty late before I even got out of the stadium. The stadium was closed by the time I left, so I had to be walked to the door and let out the door because the doors were already locked. But that's how long we sat there and argued and talked and debated and didn't get a solution out of it. But we'll figure something out. We'll see what's happening. Y'all stay tuned. We'll let you know where we're at. But like I said during the show, I'm getting text. There's Discord is still going off. People asking questions. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? But I'm not going to get into too many details. But that's the gist of it, and it saddens me.
Oh yeah, and the one thing I really wanted to emphasize is just how proud I am of the Surge as a supporters group, because this is a pretty difficult situation that they had to see one of their members just kicked out for something so silly, and the fact that we have been like standing on the railings and doing this for years now. And I've stood on the rails since last year, like ever since the supporter section was renovated, and like even without the railings, I was putting my feet on the seats when the seats used when the railings used to be seats, like in that section. I've been standing there and also on the railings for this year, and for them to tell us that this has been a rule since day one, it's it falls an inconsistency in the rules when it comes to MLS establishing their guidelines for the supporter section, because in the past they told us, if you can recall, when they banned streamers, they implemented that rule, but then after that, after it was made public, like even in other supporter sections across MLS, they were still throwing streamers. Same went for flares, and given that they put these rules in place, like fans kept doing flares, and not only that, but clubs were encouraging it by posting pictures of fans throwing streamers, throwing flares, and in this example, the one you just mentioned, they post fans standing on the railings. So we've been doing this for years, and the timing, this which is the thing that's really doesn't make any sense for me, is halfway through the season, you're gonna tell us that this is a rule that's been in place since day one, and you're gonna tell us that, and also kick fans out after this long, supposedly since day one. You're letting us do this, and we suffer the consequences now. And for me, it's unacceptable because, like, I've experienced all these things, and MLS encourages these things. Not just MLS, but all the clubs across the league, where they try to like push these guidelines, and like it's just unacceptable because there is miscommunication going on. There's some sort of mismanagement going on in stadium security, or how do they want to establish their rules, because they say something but then they encourage it, and when it gets like, and even because they encourage it, for some reason they have to track back like this late, and for me it doesn't make any sense, and it's just unacceptable. And like as long as like the search take action with this, like it's all that matters for me, because we have to call it out. We have to say it like it is, like even if it's against our team, like we have to say it like it is. And it really sucks. And I hope there's like some sort of resolution going on in like pretty soon, because like this is what's going to cost fans from attending our games, and we need fans now more than ever. Like coming off, like obviously the ownership just came in and they try to like fix things, amend things, and this is the thing that's going to like really like not make fans like be happy to go to games, just be worried for these kinds of stuff that weren't an issue in the first place, up until when they felt like it, and it really sucks. And I just hope, like, since you're one of the leaders of that, and you have like more more experiences and more interactions with like the security team for the stadium. Like I hope there's just a resolution to this, because for me it doesn't make any sense, and it's just like abhorrent that fans were kicked out of something that we've been doing for years.
And we have a home game Wednesday, so they have to hurry up and do something, and have to hurry up and talk about it. Something has been set up, so we'll see what they have to say, and the way I see it, if they communicate to us what the guidelines are and what the rules are and what they're going to enforce, and it's clear as day, then I guarantee you we'll follow them. We're not going to be happy since we've been doing like the standing on the rail forever. So if they're going to stop us from doing that, we're going to be annoyed. We're going to be pissed off. But in the end, do we stop going because they're just making they're just kind of they're pulling their own damn tail. They're chasing their own damn tails. What the security's doing, and like you said, just making stuff up as they go, or not making stuff up, but just deciding when to enforce something. And they say they've communicated this rule or whatever, but it hasn't been communicated to the fans. It may be communicated to a certain small group, but it hasn't been communicated to entire fans. It's not in that when you look at your ticket and it's about the supporter section. That's not in the rules in that little paragraph that they show us. They just tell us opposing colors and this and that, but they don't break down with all the rules. So how are half these other people supposed to know if they're not involved with an actual supporters group who you know reports back to their contingent and says these are the rules? It like you said, it's just very upsetting and absurd. And depending how, we'll just call it the conference between the fans, the Dynamo, and the MLS goes, we'll see how we're feeling. Right now, we're not feeling great at all, and it's already started a big chain reaction. So we'll see what we'll see what the end story is. But I think it's the riffle's already been caused, and you can't stop a riffle in the waves until it hits land, and it's not going to this time. I think it's going to be an everlasting wave, and you know maybe we get over it in due time, but I don't know how. We'll see. And it's all going to depend on their friggin' attitude when they're talking to us, talking to the fans about how we're supposed to act in the section. If this is what it is, put our seats back. What are we standing for now? If we can't do nothing. Now they're going to tell us that we can't dance or we can't throw our hands up, or they're going to think we're flipping people off now when we're doing the H is up. I don't know what's next. What's next. It's just ridiculous. So like I said, we'll see how it goes. It's just frustrating, man. But as you can tell from my friggin' voice, I'm down. I'm disappointed, and I'm forever orange. So I got my TV. I'm watching my team. I'll support my team, the players and the coach. But right now, that's as far as it's going to go. And I'll support my dash. I'll support my dose. But it's the players and the coaching staff, and that's about it right now that I'm supporting. Something has to be changed. Something has to change. Something has to be done. Even if they stick with these friggin' rules, they need to come out and at least apologize for the fans for the miscommunication or the horrible communication or whatever they want to call it. I don't care what they want to call it. We know what we deserve. It just makes me mad that they take the passion away, and that just ruins people's memories of the stadium and of the team, and especially of a team who is struggling to bring attendance in. It was 16,000 last night, 16,000 and something last night, which is still 6,000 short of a sellout, not even close to a sellout on a Saturday night. Granted, Astros were playing across the street at the same time, but who cares? That's baseball. We're soccer. We're only trying to fill 2020. they're trying to fill 45. So there should be enough people in Houston to go around where you could sell out both stadiums at the same friggin' time. We're trying to get fans there, but I don't know how hard we're going to try now. And Twitter does its thing, social media does its thing. So this is definitely going to be floating around the networks and going to have people ask questions like, "What's going on? This is ridiculous. I'm not cool with that. I'm not going to a game now." So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I guess you'll have to tune in next week to find out what our stance is, or follow on Twitter. You'll find some story somewhere. I guarantee it.
No, yeah, and we'll stay tuned to this story because there's definitely a lot of stuff that has to be resolved and communication to be sent to everyone. But yeah, like we'll keep an eye on this for sure. Like it's going to affect like how like some fans perceive the team up until there's some sort of answer to resolve all the issues. But well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, in the meantime, uh, yeah, support the team, support the coach, and just push for the club as an organization to do better at this point because like obviously there's a lot of departments and teams in the club, but at the same time we have to address the team's mistakes and hope there's a correction because this particular issue has to be resolved and for the fans to be treated better.
And I hope it does. I'm not going to say that I trust it does, believing in the front office staff or the reps or the MLS or security or whatever. So we'll just, like I said, we'll just see what happens. And but number one, there has to be better communication from them to us, and you can't rely on a couple people to pass the word out to thousands of people because it's different people coming to every game. So do they know the rules the way some know the rules? And obviously we don't even know the rules ourselves. Hence the problem that arised. The timing, the communication is just a bunch of BS, bro. Just a bunch of BS. Made me sick. Just made me sick. Made me sick. Which hence the reason I stuck around after the game and fought for our team, fought for our boys, fought for our members, fought for the fans, fought for those that got kicked out of the stadium. Are they banned? We don't know yet if they're technically banned or not. I think they were told they were. Are they banned? We don't know. We'll definitely find out for sure before the Wednesday game, because like I said, they have to have some kind of emergency meeting to talk about this and figure it out and get the word out to the teams. But yeah, I'm done with this topic now.
Oh yeah, and we'll leave it at that for this episode. But yeah, at this point, it's just to hope for the best and for a resolution for everyone involved. But yeah, not much to say here, guys. But I just appreciate the fact that you guys stuck this long and you keep supporting us and the team as a whole. Obviously, there's all the three teams are in their own groove, and obviously this situation happens, and it's just kind of disappointing. But like I said before, we just root for the teams and call out the mistakes and look for a resolution. But yeah, guys, as
and
always,
like
thank you so much
and
for
and,
yeah.
and like you said, you have Houston on Wednesday at home against Minnesota. Watch it on TV, and then they go to Colorado on Saturday for I think that one's going to be 6:30 because I think they're just an hour behind us. So 6:30 on Saturday, and then Dose at SaberCat Stadium on Sunday. Played North Texas. That one I will encourage you to go to that game and go out and check the boys out at SaberCat Stadium and enjoy that. Get there early so you don't have to pay for the friggin' parking. But go check it out. It's a rival game, and the boys need us, the fans, to be there and support them and guide them along as they try to improve. But that's you're right. That's all I have. So I'll let you do your outro.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. As I said before, guys, thank you so much for supporting us, and as always, stay noodle.
H is up.